start presenting. And if we are left with some time, let us indulge in some group discussions, or at least some specific HR, specific subject related questions we can pick up. If we don't have the time for group discussions, we can pick up some questions. All right? Okay. Quickly raise your hand so that I can give you permissions and you can start sharing your screens. Darshan, Trishil, hi Trishil, long time. Where were you?
Yeah, ma'am. Hi. Actually, I was suffering from eye infection. So
Oh,
doctor said to, the keep away from your screen. So I was just resting.
and what infection is this? I'm sorry.
Eye infection due to dust.
Eye infection. Okay, eye infection.
Yeah. So
All right.
now
I thought
now
this.
I'm much better now. So
All
I
right. So,
thought I should join now.
okay, okay. So this eye infection was before 14th Feb or after 14th Feb?
It was from the first week of Feb. So
Oh,
it was from like more than 2 weeks.
okay, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
sad. You were not able to enjoy your 14th Feb also because of the eye infection.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's saying. That's good. That's good. I like modest gentlemen. All right. In a sequence, we'll quickly follow. Darshan goes first, Trishil, followed by Shivraj, Riya, Ashutosh, Shantanu, and Karthik. I'm going to time you all for 5 minutes. I cannot spare more than this time. Okay? 5 minutes. The moment you start sharing your screen, I'm going to put a timer. All right?
Cool,
Darshan,
man, cool.
Darshan, all
Yeah,
your
let's start.
start sharing your screen, hero.
Yeah. Yeah. Is my screen visible, guys?
Give it a minute, a second maybe. Yes, Darshan, go ahead.
Yes. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Darshan. I'll be talking about the Narayana Hospital's caveman unit. So, how a single unit on an island changed the complete landscape for the Narayana Hridayalaya or Narayana Health Hospital. So, let me start. So, there are two hospitals. The first, let's say, that sits in Bangalore, which is with a high volume territory. The second on a coral island in the Caribbean with 104 beds out of the window, like Turkey's water out of the window and dollar denominated billing. Both belong to Narayana Health. But the Bangalore hospital is the brand and the Caveman hospital is the margin story. So why is it exactly? Let me start with the numbers itself. So if you see around here the numbers, the hospital revenue grew around 27% YOY in the quarter 3 financial year 26. So and also if you just look at that revenue on a consolidated basis, it grew around 70% compared to the Indian revenue for around 11.8%. So moving on to the next slide. Give me a minute now. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Yeah. So
Hmm.
to understand why exactly caveman matters, you have to understand what was the problem exactly. So the island was not poor exactly. It was like roughly with around 70,000 people, a good financial sector, a very tourism oriented, small island, tiny. They're like all chill and everything. But what happened exactly was when there were complex cases, let's say a child born premature, a middle-aged executive with a blocked artery, a patient presenting with an early stage cancer. So the system had no answer. And also what exactly was happening was a Cayman resident needing any open heart surgery. He has to fly to Miami or something or for another country for their complex to treat their complex operations. And this was just not just inconvenient, it was expensive, fragmented, and logistically dangerous. The Cayman government was also paying for the overseas treatment for their insured people, and insurers were processing high dollar claims across different jurisdictions, and patients were navigating foreign hospitals in the moment of crisis. There was demand, but there was vacuum, and it was large. So Narayana came up with the health city in the Cayman Island. So to address that properly, so Dr. Dev Shetty, what did he do? Narayana did not win on brand; it won on the economic processes. To be honest, so
Very
what
true.
exactly did they did in India? That translate, for example, a cardiac bypass that may cost around 2 to 3 lakh in India can be priced at a several multiples in a US linked market. So in Caveman, it translates into something far more interesting. For example, the same operating DNA of India can be applied to a US adjusted pricing environment. Indian operating DNA multiplied with the Western pricing environment. That is the caveman equation, and that is why the margins look what they do. This is just a geographical arbitrage in its purest form. Naran did not charge US prices to the competitive in Cayman. It simply need to be materially cheaper than what exactly the patient was facing. Let's say I'm a resident of a caveman. What I was facing earlier was before flying to Miami, relatively much cheaper than that was available in just in my home city, that was caveman. So it achieved both simultaneously and built a structural moat in the process. That was the Narayana Health Caveman Island, and what it did, as I mentioned, around roughly around 104 beds. And mind you, not this is just the 10% of the total beds of the Narayana Hospital, but it contributes around 25% for the consolidated revenue. So why is that exactly? Because it did not chase the bed count, it chased the complexity, as I mentioned, with the complex operations and complex surgeries. So you can see that in the average revenue per occupied bed. So in Indian hospitals, it's around 25,000 to 35,000 per day. In Caveman, it cost around like 2,500 to $4,000 per day. So you can see the delta, the difference between in Indian and the Caveman hospitals. So then moving on to the next. So what are the revenue streams for the caveman hospitals? So people think that medical tourism, which is the most contributor and the major source of revenue, but it is not exactly. The first thing is obviously the local residents. Why? Because they are well insured by their government and largely through employer-sponsored plans, and this is mostly predictable and recurring revenue. And secondly, moving on to the regional referrals. So the second is the Caribbean regional referrals, patients from Jamaica, Trinidad and Bahamas, and smaller islands, like nations that have even less territory infrastructure, came to like which did not have an infrastructure in the Cayman before 2014. Now they can easily come to Cayman because it is closer than Miami and cheaper than London. And then moving on to the international medical tourist, as I mentioned, the third stream, this is very smaller in volume but disproportionately larger in their contribution to revenue and EBITDA. Because a US patient, for example, facing around $140,000 cardiac procedure at home, discuss the same or similar procedure performed by surgeons trained to be the same international standards, costing very material less in caveman. Same, exactly same with no major any structural changes or something. So the medical tourist kicked in. So it's medical tourism refrain, in my opinion. Take the Indian model to the patient instead of waiting for the patient to come to India or anywhere else. So this was the
Darshan,
strategic play
I'll
which
have to
Narayana
just
played.
interrupt. Darshan,
Yeah, yeah,
just interrupt.
yeah.
Wonderfully, wonderfully, you have executed the task. Beautiful. We were on the journey with you. Quickly, I give you 1 minute for questions. Anyone, one question and elaborate answer, please. My first question is, how did you think of doing a research on this typical hospital? Because all we've been doing is automobiles,
Yeah, yeah.
ITC, hotels, luxury hotels. How did you come to know about this?
Narayana hospitals because last in the first month of Feb I was admitted over there for I was suffering from typhoid.
Ah.
So I had an experience over there. So that
Mm,
just a
mm,
curiosity built out of my mind and experience, and that led
Wonderful.
to me researching about this company. And I was tracking this company from a very long time, and also their insurance, which is the Aditi policy,
Mm,
is a very great insurance product in my
mhm,
opinion. Again, I'm not
mm.
promoting. This is just my personal experience.
Wonderful.
So I was completely insured. I did not even pay a single rupee. So it is all in and out with the Narayana
Wonderful.
Health.
Wonderful. 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 See, with one's own experience, you can, have so much of exploration. We also have had such a beautiful insight about this hospital then.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Good use of lexical resources as always. And Darshan, you were effortless, effortless,
Yes.
as if you were through and through with this report. Great confidence.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Can I
Thank you, ma'am.
request you to stop sharing the screen?
Hi, Darshan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great presentation. Yeah, I got to know what exactly those guys are doing. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to ask, like, what exactly are these guys doing so differently? Like, are they competing with price or are they competing with specialty or something like that? What's the differentiator?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, mainly it's because of the price. In India, there is some price cap compared to other hospitals. If you see, there is a price limit for a particular surgery and complexity. But when it comes to Caveman or any other, they have also presence in UK and across the geography. So there isn't any price cap for that particular a surgery or particular experience, and that is the main contributor. And the second thing is that insurance business, which they have started recently, so that will be a big boom for Narayana hospitals, because like just like in the month, 10,000 premium a year would cover around 5 crore surgery cost for your lifespan. So that these are some of the two catalysts I felt and differentiators.
Yeah. And Darshan, I just wanted to ask, do they guys in the Cayman Island, do they use the Cayman currency or do they use the dollars, US dollars?
US dollars, yeah.
Yes. And do you have any idea for that? So, what's the percentage change in US dollars impact on the earnings? Or is it just there is an increase in sales or increase in whatever the product they are selling is the reason for the increase in profit, not the currency exchange?
Currency exchange, I think, do play a certain impact on that, but mostly I think it's pegged to US dollars. I don't think so major change in that. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Because you mentioned it before, I was looking at KAY. They have this
yeah,
another
yeah,
currency for Cayman. So I
yeah.
just
But
wanted to look at
usually,
that.
yeah, usually in the tourist places, dollar is universally accepted, so I think they do use that.
Cool, cool. Thank you, Darshan. Appreciate it.
Great, wonderful. Sushil, you can go ahead, share your screen, please.
Yeah, ma'am. Give me a moment. Ma'am, is my screen is visible? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible, bro.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. So today I'm going to present the automobile report for the January month. So if you look at the overall automobile industry grew by 24.2% year on year, which is led by strong two-wheeler and four-wheeler growth, which is grew by 25% and 18% year on year. Now coming to the exhibit one, which consists of the segment wise contribution like two-wheeler, four-wheeler, commercial vehicle, and the three-wheeler. So two-wheeler is dominating by the 71 percentage, followed by four-wheeler, which has the 20.1% contributed to the overall automobile industry, and the least is three-wheeler, which is 1.2%. Now coming to the four-wheeler segment. So the overall four-wheeler segment grew by 18.1% year on year, led by robust growth for SUVs. Four-wheeler domestic growth grew by 12.3% to 375,000 units. Now coming to Exhibit 2, which consists of the last 3 months sales for the domestic vehicle, and in the last month, which is January, which has the highest number of sales. Yeah, now coming to Exhibit 4, which consists of the company-wise four-wheeler sales breakup. So Maruti Suzuki, being the market leader, has the 52.8 percentage overall market share, followed by the Hyundai and the Tata Motor, and the list is Mahindra and Mahindra. If you look at the top 10 car four-wheeler segment, which Nexon has the highest number of sale in the January, followed by Desire and Punch. Now coming to the company-wise data, the first is Maruti Suzuki. So Maruti Suzuki sales increased by 12%, which is driven by strong export sales, and the domestic sales were flat around 0.6% year on year. The growth was driven by the Desire sales, which is surged 27.6% to 19.6 thousand units year on year. Now coming to the Exhibit 7, which consists of the Maruti Suzuki total passenger vehicle sales for the last 3 months. Again, the January has the highest number of sales. Now coming to the Tata Motors. So the Tata Motors posted the Tata Motors posted the strong growth around 47.1% year on year to 71,000 units, which is led by strong domestic demand. If you look at the domestic sales, which is increased by 46.1% year on year to 70,000 unit, which is led by Nexon and the Tata Punch. The Nexon sales grew 51.8% year on year, which is accounting for 33.4% of the total domestic vehicle. Coming to the Exhibit 9, which consists of the Tata Motors domestic passenger vehicle sales for the last 3 months. Again, the January has the highest number of sales for the Tata in the domestic market. Now coming to Mahindra and Mahindra. Mahindra and Mahindra records 23.4% year-on-year sales growth, which is led by strong domestic sales. So the reason for the increase in the domestic sales was the sales of Mahindra Scorpio uh, rising by 79% year-on-year to 15.5%, and which is contributing to 24.1% of the total domestic passenger vehicle sales. Again, on the January 14, Mahindra and Mahindra opened the booking for XUV 7XO and XUV 9S, which has recorded the 93.6 thousand bookings, and which is the value around 205 billion rupees. Now coming to Hyundai Motors. So Hyundai Motors sales grew by 11.5% year-on-year, which is led by strong growth in export. The export sales increased by 20.9% year-on-year to 14,000 units, driven by strong overseas demand. And the passenger vehicles sales grew 9.5% to 59,000 units, supported by healthy demand for Venue and Aura sedan. So if you look at the highlight is for the Hyundai, they have reported the highest ever monthly sales in the January 26. In the domestic market, the Venue sales increased by 11.8%, which is contributing to 17.7% of the total domestic passenger vehicle sales, while Creta sales declined by 3.2%. Now coming to Exhibit 13, which consists of the passenger vehicle sales for the last 3 months. Again, the January has the highest number of sales, which is around 73,000 units. Now coming to two-wheeler segment. So the two-wheeler segment grew 25% year-on-year, which is led by strong growth in the domestic sales. So the domestic two-wheeler sales increased by 26.4% to 1,211,000 units, supported by improving rural demand and the steady urban demand, also with the positive impact of GST rate cut. In two-wheeler segment, the Hero Motocorp led the market with 35.7% share, and sales growth was 26.0% year-on-year to 557,000 units, followed by the TVS, which has the market share of around 31.6%. Now coming to the segment wise, so the motorcycle accounted for the 69.9% of the total two-wheeler sales, with Hero Motocorp holding the highest number of sale of 42.9%. Ma'am, can I continue or should I stop?
Tushit, that should be enough. Yes?
Yeah. If you have any question, then you can ask. I will be happy to answer those. Hello.
One question, anyone? Quickly. Even for the formality's sake. Anyone can just ask a question. All right.
Hi, Trishil.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi,
Great
Kaustav.
presentation.
Kaustubh
Yeah.
is
I
my
just want
question bank.
Yeah,
great
Kaustav.
presentation. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted to ask, what's your opinion on the auto sector now? Like based on whatever update you have given, how will it move forward?
So I think in the domestic market, there will be no impact. Like obviously the sales will be increasing due to the GST rate cut, and few companies like like Maruti Suzuki and Tata Motors are expanding their plants, and also they are what can I say, aggressively the launching their models. So in the domestic market, I don't think any impact, but sales will grow for sure. But we have to look for the export due to the Mexico increases the tariff, so which can lead to the decrease in the sales, and also due to the geopolitical tension, export might decline. Yeah, so that's my thought on overall automobile industry.
Okay. Great answer. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Shivraj, can you start sharing your screen?
Yes. So is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Good evening, all of you. I'm going to present quarterly results for Chalet Hotels. So going to the summary. Consolidated revenue, including the residential project at Bengaluru, grew 27% year-on-year to 5.9 billion. And excluding that particular residential project, their overall revenue increased to 23% year-on-year to 5.7 billion, which is driven by the strong revenue for growth in micro markets like Pune, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad, and their strong occupancies across their commercial towers, which are in Mumbai particularly. So revenue from their hospitality business rose 23%, around 23% year on year to 4.9 billion, which is driven by again strong revenue from growth from both here non-MMR region, which showed 16% year on year growth in revenue for, and if we are talking about that particular MMR region, then that Sahar micro market also contributed to this strong revenue for growth. On a like for like basis, the hospitality revenue grew 15% year on year. So coming to the EBITDA, here EBITDA increased 29% year on year to 2.7 billion, and on a consolidated basis, and excluding that residential project, EBITDA improved 24% year on year to 2.7 billion. And talking about their profit, Chalet Hotels reported net profit of 28%, net profit growth of 28% year on year to 1.2 billion. And coming to now key highlights for this quarter. So their overall hospitality occupancy declined by 230 bips year on year because of addition of 129 keys in Bengaluru and 100 keys at Ativa Khandala. And also coming to their MMR region, the construction work at Pavai and renovation work at Vashi, they are also contributed to this decline of occupancy. So now coming to the MMR region particularly. So despite of this constructions work going on Pavai and renovation work going at Washi property, so despite of these business disruptions, overall MMR portfolio shows the revenue per growth of 8.7% year on year, and which is driven by 5.8% year on year ADR growth and 3% improvement in occupancy. So which shows that because in MMR region there are four hotels they are operating. So among the four hotels, two are at Pavai and one is at Vashi. So among the four, the three are the disruptions of three hotels because of temporary construction work. So and even though they are showing that 9% year on year revenue per growth, so this is because of that JW Marriott at Sahar, which shows that Sahar market had contributed with strong performance because of that JW's prime location near airport, and that Sahar market is growing in the segment of mice and wedding also.
Hmm.
Coming to that now coming to the non-MMR markets, particularly Pune, Hyderabad, Bengaluru. So they overall reported that a strong ADR growth of 25% year on year to 16,000 per night. And among these non-MMR markets, Bengaluru market has shown the highest ADR growth despite of having declining occupancy levels because of key additions. This is because of that limited room supply in that particular Whitefield area in the Bengaluru. So coming to now Ativa Resort and Spa at Khandala, which had showed the strong performance because being this the first operation quarter of that Ativa brand, so it was fully sold for 5 days, and this is because of that particular location also, which is considered that Ativa Resort is located in near Pune Mumbai highway also. So that reason is also contributed to this, and it shows that being the first property under Ativa brand, this performance showed that early traction for this brand and acceptance of that guest for this particular product. So now coming to that annuity business. So annuity business this quarter, annuity business contributed significantly. because it showed the improvement in occupancy rate by 1600 bips, particularly because of the commercial property at Powai, which is Cygnus 1. So because that occupancy of that Cygnus 1 is improved by nearly 3000 bips year on year to 83%. And commercial tower at Sahar. Uh,
Yes, Shivraj, I'll have to stop you here. 5 minutes
okay.
are over. Any question to Shivraj, please? Any questions? Quickly.
Hi, Shivraj.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Were you on the morning call?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so we discussed something in the morning call about Atiba.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a part of Chalet. So I wanted to ask a question regarding that.
Yes. Go ahead.
So what's your opinion on what they are doing with spa and hospitality? They're trying to mix leisure for people who want to do staycations. So what's the management commitment or commentary on that side?
Like they are saying that they are not pushing Athiva brand everywhere. So in Athiva Khandala, we have location 5 or 6 locations now for Athiva. So in Khandala and in Akasa Beach and in Navi Mumbai and in Tiruvananthapuram also. So they are they are customizing their Athiva according to that location also. So if that the first property at Kandala they opened recently, so like it was not the similar thing with that Navi Mumbai location also, and Tiruvananthapuram also, because so for example in Tiruvananthapuram they are in Athiva there is a mix of resort and spa, and also with the convention center also, because the city is capital of that state. So in that way also they are customizing that particular Athiva property according to that particular city, particular destination, whether it is a business or hub or whether it is a leisure destination.
Is the answer satisfactory?
Thank you, Shivraj.
Answer satisfactory here?
Yeah, ma'am.
Elaborate and
It's something
satisfactory.
new they are trying to. We can't say a lot about it, but we'll
Mm-hmm.
have to see what they are doing.
Good, good, good. Shivraj, lot of confidence is visible. Very nice. And the way you answered is also very nice. Yes? Keep practicing. Wonderful work there. All
Hey
right.
Shivraj, ma'am, can I ask one thing from
Yeah,
Shivraj?
please. Yeah, please go ahead.
So, hey Shivraj, a nice presentation.
Yes, go
Hello.
ahead. Uh-huh.
Huh. So, just a basic question. So, can you recommend us to invest in this stock and why?
There are in my opinion, yes, we can. But there are a lot of Athiva brands under their pipeline. So the
Oh,
first property is performing well, but
hmm,
we have to look at that other properties under particularly Athiva brand, because in December when they announced that Athiva brand, I think in November also, November I think. So when they announced that Athiva brand, so in a single day that their stock price went up to nearly 5% up. So so but that time that figures of financials related to Athiva were not with us publicly, but now they are showing the strong performance through this first property at Athiva. So, and particularly also that Chalet are trying to diversify their portfolio. Earlier, they are in only business hotels. Now they are trying to come up with leisure destinations and leisure properties. So in segment, and also they are trying to come out of Maharashtra also, because earlier their most of the portfolio concentrated in only Maharashtra. So they are geography wise and they are segment business wise, segment wise, leisure and business. So they are diversifying their portfolio. And the another thing is like they are upgrading their F&B segment also. Like earlier the F&B segment is connected to only room revenue. Now that they are trying to uh, launch and upgrade that F&B brands in a different hotel according to the locations. So they are trying to introduce an extra revenue stream through this F&B also, we can see here. And also that their annuity business is also performing quite well, and and it is contributed to stable cash flow for a midterm or near future.
Shivraj, isn't this a very descriptive answer for a simple question he asked? Will you recommend, not recommend? Or this is your
Uh,
strategy of answering? I
no,
don't
no,
know.
not strategy. In a first sentence only, I said that, in my opinion, I should go with these chalet hotels.
Okay.
So but only by giving that single sentence answer, he would not be satisfied or convinced.
Okay.
So I thought that to
Let
back
me
that my
policy.
opinion, I should put. But I think in the process also, I just go went out of track. Also, what I feeling now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you interrupted me.
Yeah, so just be descriptive. You answer the question rightly, but just be descriptive because the more lengthy we are talking, people are getting, monotonously bored. So be very crisp. Talk very,
Yes,
very crisp. Wonderful, wonderful then.
yes.
All right.
Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
Ashutosh,
Thank you, Shivraj.
start sharing your screen, hero, and I'm timing you for 5 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Just
From the
give
time
me
you
a
start
minute.
sharing your screen. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Others, please keep questions ready. You're not asking questions. There can be two reasons. You're not at all interested, or you're not able to generate questions, comprehend the content. You are paying attention,
So
that's for sure. I want someone else to ask questions this time. So please listen carefully. Okay.
yeah, is the screen visible?
Visible, visible. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I came across this interesting article in the Economic Times today titled "In God They Trust, Realtors Make a Beeline for Temple Towns." So the core idea of the whole article is that religious tourism in India is outperforming regular domestic leisure travel in many states, and this is starting to meaningfully impact the hospitality and real estate sectors. So what's happening is that developers are actively buying land in temple towns like Ayodhya, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Vrindavan, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier, which wasn't the case at all, because if you look back 4 or 5 years ago, this like the hospitality demand was largely metro driven or dependent on business travel. But now we are seeing a clear structural shift towards spiritual destinations. And I think this isn't just seasonal pilgrimage traffic anymore, because the article explicitly points out that footfall has become more sustained and year round.
Mm-hmm.
So the hotel operators, they are planning to add 9,000 rooms by 2030. And I think one of the big drivers behind this is the government push, because, for example, the UP government has allocated 150 crores for tourism infrastructure in Ayodhya and 500 crores under the Chief Minister Tourism Places Development Scheme. And at the central level, this figure is, I think, somewhere around 2,500 crores, near to that for tourism infrastructure. And then there was another proposal of 20,000 crores for overall infrastructure development in the whole country, including smaller cities and temple towns. So I think this is in some random growth. This is supported and backed by government policies, better airports and road connectivity, and the overall civic improvement within the country. From a hospitality perspective, I would say this is quite important because temple towns like Ayodhya and Vrindavan are seeing a lot of demand, not just for budget accommodations, but for organized hotel players as well, and retail spaces, mixed-use development properties, etc., etc. So these developers, what they are doing is they are trying to repositioning them from purely religious centers to structured tourism spiritual hubs. And this will ultimately translate into better utilization of assets, higher occupancy, and more predictable cash flows for hotel operators that are present within these cities. So for us as equity research analysts who are tracking hospitality segments, this is a useful piece of information because it signals a potential new demand cluster. So we can focus more on tier 2 and tier 3 cities, especially temple towns and spiritual cities. And from my opinion, the key things to monitor would be the occupancy and ARR trends, land acquisition activity by real estate developers and hospitality players. And I think it would also create opportunity for the mid-scale segment. And it's one of the most under-penetrated market at the moment within the hospitality industry. And it also aligns really well with the religious tourism because people who are going to spiritual places, they do not prefer luxury. They prefer to be, more aligned with their budget and all those things. So I think lemon tree and ginger would be one of the good fix within these segments. So all in all, I think this article reinforces the idea that religious tourism is no longer just a cultural phenomenon, but it is becoming an economic growth driver. And if this momentum continues, then the temple towns could turn into a long-term growth drivers for the hospitality players. So
Wonderful.
that's pretty much it from my side.
Wonderful
Thank you.
observation. Wonderful observation. So there you are, people. You can just grab the newspaper, whatever intrigues you, just read through and just tell us the way Ashutosh has done. Effortless effort there. Wonderful. Questions
Thanks
from
a lot.
someone else?
Yeah. Hi, Ashutosh.
Hi, Darshan.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for this insightful on spoken on the spiritual tourism. I just wanted to ask question regarding. Uh, I think spiritual tourism currently in India is at a very nascent stage, so there is a lot of growth opportunities available, and mostly concentrated across only few regions and few cities. So I think for next decadal there will be a huge growth. Post that, I think it will stabilize, right? I'm just assuming certain numbers, but do you think so? Is it the right way to think, or
Yeah.
will there be a
So I
constant momentum?
agree with you to some extent because if there's an under-penetrated market, then it is the right time to enter when the market has started showing some traction. Because you can't catch the bus if it has started moving. So after
Yeah,
10-15 years, I think the demand will stabilize, and all the players that are currently focusing on developing properties within these states and within these places, so those properties will also stabilize as well. So I
yeah,
think you
understood.
are partly right, and
And addition to that, you mentioned about the mid-scale hotels, right? Ginger and Lemon Tree. Mostly
yeah.
these don't contribute much to the hotels, right? Their revenue top line. But now, considering the spiritual tourism, how will it contribute exactly? I didn't get that part.
Okay, so like people like you and me, I had a very interesting figure. I would like to share with everyone. So Vrindavan, Ayodhya, and sorry, Varanasi, Ayodhya, and Tirupati, they together attract 6 to 6.5 billion visitors annually, while Vrindavan alone sees 900 million visitors, including 4 to 4.5 million overnight tourists. So this was a report published by Make My Trip, and it says 29% of pilgrims now choose to stay in premium rooms priced above 7,000, translating to 1.25 to 1.30 million premium travelers annually. So 40% of these are Gen Zs and millennials, and this is something that people are now focusing more on. So we are also, as if you are more spiritual, it's not like you'll go to a spiritual place one time and that's it. You're not going to go there for the rest of your life. It's again and again, and it's a year-round demand. So, and people like you and me who are, so let's say middle class and upper middle class people, if they are going to a spiritual place, they tend to align more with the budget stays, and it's a common human tendency. If you go to a leisure or places like that, you'll spend more on luxury and all those things. So I think part of human psychology also plays a little bit of role here.
Yeah, understood, Ashutosh. Thank you.
So
All
that
right.
answers
Thank
the
you.
question.
Thank you, both of
Thank you.
you. Shantanu, share your screen without wasting time. Come on.
It's visible.
Yes, it is visible. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, all. Today I will presenting the news regarding the quality walls. In that, quality walls sees the double-digit growth in the as a India's ice cream category. It's significantly under the penetration. And if we see the India per capita ice cream consumption is just 400 to 500 ml. It's below the global peers. And in the India, nearly 50% of the markets is unorganized. It's give a scope for the expansion and premiumization to the quality walls. And uh, after the demerger of HUL is listed on the NSC and BSC stock exchange, and the quality walls is the second largest market player in the Indian ice cream market. Is contributing the 10% of market shares, and its biggest competitors is Amul. It's contribute approx 38 to 40% market shares. And when we see the strategy of the quality walls, it's focusing on the distribution expansion. It's adding annually 16,000 units outlets and 2 lakhs coolers compared to the 1 million coolers across the industry. And it's helped to scale up the potentially, and the growth is further supported by the premium and richer ice cream offering and bigger role playing by the quick commerce platform. And recently the Mangum ice cream company offered to the quality walls acquires the 26% stakes in quality walls at 21.33 rupees per share, and that offer valued at 13 billion. And before the earlier the acquisition of by the Mangum ice cream in quality walls is gives the 61.9% stake in the quality walls. It's valued at 13 billion, and it's give the management control to the Magnum ice cream. And if the that new acquisition offer accepted, the Mangum ice cream company stake will be rise to 88% in uh, quality walls. And it's exist Unilever exists from the promoter group, and it's become a public shareholder company. And in a conclusion, we see the quality wall is see the sustainable and double digit growth is driven by the lower penetration, 10% market share, premiumization in the products, and rapid distribution expansion.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
very nice.
that's all about it.
First question I will ask you: how did you come across this news? Why did you pick this news?
Ma'am, just a random pick from the newspaper, and we know about the summer season is coming up.
Random pick
That
from the newspaper, and you did it.
newspaper.
Arre wow, very nice, very
Yeah.
nice, very good. Yes, people, any questions? One question I can permit.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I have two questions related to this. So,
Okay.
first, what is your take on quality walls? Like, is it investable currently?
Yeah. We don't have the financial details till now,
So, no, just
but
seeing the market share and all.
yeah, it's first means is a listed top market share company on the NSE in the Indian ice cream market. I think it's see their expansion strategy. It's like a good. That's why I think it's good for the investment, in my opinion.
So just want to ask one thing. Like, if it has a huge growth prospect, then why would Unilever exit that and become a public shareholder? So,
Yeah,
selling majority of
they
stake to Magnum.
yeah they want for the demerger they want to give a focus on special ice cream products. That's why they demerge from the HUL.
No, my
But
question is
for
that
the
why it
yeah
exited its shareholding. Like,
yeah
from majority
That's,
to a public shareholder.
I don't think related that view. Sorry for that.
Okay.
He will get back to you tomorrow. है ना, Shantanu?
Yes, yes.
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 Thank you. Thank you. It was wonderful, Shantanu. Oh my God. The graph is going exponentially up. Huh? It is skyrocketing. Wonderful. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Great.
Thank
Ria,
you.
please share your screen. And if your name is, what is his name? The person who asks questions? Good questions raised.
Ma'am, actually I changed the device, so I forgot to.
Okay, it's okay. We'll call you Ria iPad.
No, no, ma'am. It's my sister's name.
All right. Yes, Ria, please start.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, baby, it is.
All right. So this is the news cutout that I found out in Financial Express, and it really intrigued me. So I thought, why not share it with you guys as well? So this stated that currency in circulation has been increased by 11% year on year. So what does that mean? It is actually a report done by SBI Research, in which it is an eco wrap report, as you can see here, which was released on Monday. And in that report, they said that the currency in circulation has touched around 40 trillion rupees, ended on 31st January, as per 31st January statistics. Right. This is an 11.1% year on year growth, which is kind of more than a double of 5.3% of the same period last year. And if you consider the year to date basis, that is from April 25 to January 26, the CIC has been increased by 2.76 trillion, which if you compare the corresponding period of the last year, it was just 888 billion during that year. So it's a very sharp increase. Now, let us dive a little bit into it. So currency in circulation also includes currency with public. That currency with public accounts nearly 97.6% of the total currency, which has also climbed to a record of 39 trillion, which is registering a 11.5% annual growth. Now, this is now why I have told you all these statistics is because while the currency circulation is increasing, our cash to GDP ratio is declining. It has been declined to 11%, which was previously at 14.4% in 2021, and now it is at 11%. Now, what does that mean is that whenever cash to GDP ratio declines, it means that our GDP is growing, but the cash in hand is not growing as much, which is very contrary, because right now we just saw that we are at a record high of 40 trillion cash. How is that working? It is working because the existence of digital payments, and also how the existence of digital payments and cash together, both at a record high, existing at the same time. So there might be following factors. Number one is that in the July 2025, the Karnataka government issued 18,000 GST notices to small merchants and vendors whose threshold limit of 40 lakh rupees was crossed, which is a mandatory threshold limit that you have to cross to get a GST registration. And because of that, a lot of vendors started using cash again, and they were not using UPI. And during that year and during that month, a lot of it was seen that ATM withdrawals exceeded a lot more in transactions as compared to the UPI transactions in those regions. Apart from that, GDP is also growing, which means that money demand will also tend to rise. That's why the money is also at a all-time high. The another reason is the interest rates. So if you are keeping your money in bank and your savings account is not generating that much interest, and people are becoming aware of it, so they think that why not just keep cash with ourselves, and or why to invest in bank, just keep it with ourselves. That's why a lot of, and also you can also see that in a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 cities, people usually tend to carry cash with themselves irrespective of the interest in banks. Another reason might be gold and silver prices. So because there's a big rally in those gold and silver prices, a lot of people started to liquidate. And because it's a very unorganized sector, so a lot of transactions are done in cash. Because of that, a lot of cash has been utilized when people were selling gold and silver. Another factor might be the structural changes in our currency composition. Earlier, we used to have 2000 denomination rupees note, right? And now the highest denominated note that we have in circulation is rupees 500, which is very easy to carry. So because of these factors, not only our digital payments are rising, but also cash in hand is also rising. And that's why you can see a currency in circulation is an all-time high, but the cash to GDP ratio is declining because the downward trend in the cash to GDP ratio accounted for digital payments. So what is the outlook? Our outlook is that India is not becoming a cashless economy per se, but it is becoming a cash efficient one. So GDP is no longer, so whenever you are calculating GDP growth, that might not be equal to the equivalent cash growth. And digital payments are absorbing the incremental transaction needs. RBI is managing the liquidity better, and UPI are structurally changing money demand. So it will take some time, but we will get there, I guess. So thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful piece of information. Very beautifully, you took us from the starting till the end in the same tempo. The fluency was maintained. The word articulation was absolutely impeccable.
Thank
Impeccable.
you,
You
ma'am.
can
Thank you so
produce
much.
real good work, Ria. I want to see more of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sure, for sure.
And beautiful insight. This is some new information which is crossing our minds. Lot of food
Thank
for
you.
our brains. I'm sure us here in the forum are intrigued and will come up with more questions and more insights from this particular thing. I can
Sure.
permit one question. Anybody, please go ahead.
Hi,
Hi, Karthik.
great insight, Triya.
Thanks a
Uh,
lot.
as you mentioned, the bank deposits are not much higher. So, in my view, in money kept in bank is not investment. So, can we say that cash in hand increase in the cash in hand is circulation is because non-regulated जो entities हैं उनका revenue बढ़ रहा होगा,
See,
like small
cash in
vendors and all.
Yes, cash in circulation actually refers to the actual physical notes that have been in the economy. So when people are putting more investments in, there are a lot of share, like cash in bank that is already accounted for, right? Because the physical notes that you have to keep, that people are keeping in bank, a percentage of that as a reserve, banks also maintain with themselves. So all of the investments are already accounted for in it. I'm just talking about currency in circulation, which is the actual physical notes.
No, I mean,
Um,
if currency circulation is increasing,
mhm.
that doesn't mean that small vendors' income is increasing.
Yes. And what was your question? Can you please repeat it?
No, I just
Hello?
want to know that small vendors' income is
Yes, yes.
increasing, which is not actually accounted for properly in the GDP calculations. This is my view.
Yes. Yes, but that's what we were talking about. The cash, the actual physical cash, and versus, how the total money in circulation and digital payments. So when the GDP is increasing, obviously GDP increase already means that, the income of the people are rising. And because that is an unorganized sector, that means that people are hoarding more cash, which is one of the main reasons that I talked about, that because people are keeping a lot of cash in hand with themselves, that's why our physical cash and digital payments are an all-time high, and yet our cash to GDP ratio is declining because
Okay.
people are keeping a lot of cash with themselves.
But
But GDP is
I
not increasing in the pace like our money spending is increasing.
I'm sorry.
Karthik, you're asking one question followed by another question. Because of the time constraint, I will negate that. Sorry. I
Okay.
I just
still
want
have
to,
Tushar to give his
I
presentation.
just want to ask one last thing. I just want to ask one last thing. I just wanted to ask, like,
Okay.
is there any influence of black money? If any person is having black money, so how it is recorded in the books? And secondly, like, what things like demonetizations are happening, and how we are holding accountability?
See, because of black money, obviously, you can see here that that one of the major reasons, I guess, like I have not included it in the factors because that's not legal. Right? So because of black money, you hoard the money in cash, and that's why still we are at an all-time high currency in circulation, that is the physical notes, because you're going to keep black money in physical notes. You're not going to, if you are routing it through bank, that will become white. Right? So because of that also, currency in circulation is increasing, and yet we are seeing that digital payments are also increasing because the people who are earning in white, they are transacting more in UPI payments, and the people who are earning in black, they are hoarding more and more cash because of the rise in corruption and stuff like that. Because that's why both of these transactions are at all-time high.
Yeah, Kshitij, people are saying जिसके पास होता है वही ऐसे वाला क्वेश्चन पूछता है.
नहीं मैम, आई एम अ सोबर
मैं
मैन.
नहीं बोल रही. Somebody in the
Just
chat just said that. I
just out of the sake of curiosity, I was just asking. Like
just
there are
kidding,
many
just
people.
kidding. Please don't take me personally.
No, no, no.
Even though it was a very, very nice question to be asked, I really thought all this liquid cash must be because of the black money which is being circulated all over. There's so
Yeah.
many people doing so many hacks. And Indians, we are known for, antidotes, not
Yeah.
anything else, but yes, we know how to break the law.
Yes,
Anyway, I
ma'am.
will not take
Because
much time.
I have read in. Yes, ma'am. Because I
Mhm.
have read in economic times that there are many businessmen, they not only avoid taxes while doing
Even the
some
menial
donation
ones,
sort of
even the
thing, they are
menial.
also converting black to white.
Yes, yes. छोटा सा आप कुछ भी
Yeah,
छोटा
they
भी
are
लेने
also
जाओ ना, they will tell you,
doing black to
please pay
white.
in cash. I will save a little bit on my GST, or I will not have to show it somewhere else. So
Exactly, exactly.
yes, even this menial vendor is also doing the same. Anyways, let me cut it short here. I really want to give Tushar a chance. Tushar, go ahead. Your 5 minutes start now, hero. Please share your screen.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yeah,
Sorry for
visible.
yesterday. Actually, there was a network error by my side.
Not a problem.
So we'll be continuing the TVS third quarterly update for today.
Yes.
So in Q3, the premium motorcycle, scooters, and the three-wheeler drove strong revenue expansion for TVS, making the revenue grew by 37.1%, outpacing the volume growth of 27.4%. So it was driven by lasting impact of GST rationalization, festive momentum, higher volume, a richer product mix, healthy realization of 88 rupees per USD, EVs and spare business scaling up. On a consolidated basis, the automotive segment, which contributes around 87.3% of the revenue, grew by 36.8% to 129 billion rupees. Talking about the EBITDA, it grew faster to 51.5% year on year to 16.3 billion rupees. Margin expanded by 120 basis point to 13.1%. It was driven by PLI impact of 70 basis point, largely from the strong operating leverage from strong volume growth, which offset more than 40 basis of cost inflation from platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Now, talking about the PAT, it grew by 52% to 9.4 billion units. Margin expanded by 70 basis points to 7.4% after taking into the consideration of 0.41 billion rupees impact from new labor codes. Talking about the total volume, it grew by 27.4% year on year to 1.54 million units. It was driven by export, which grew by 39.4%, and motorcycle, which grew by 30.6%. So, motorcycle as a whole contributes around 47% of the TVS volumes, and it grew by 30.6% to 726,000 units. The ICE plus EV scooters contributes around 39.8% of the revenue. 32.9% is ICE vehicles, and EV contributes around 6.9%. It overall grew by 24.5% to 614,000 units. Now talking about the domestic revenue. So here as well, the domestic revenue grew. It was the highest performance for the TVS. Revenue grew by 29.9% year on year to 118 billion units. Talking about the domestic volume, so E2-wheeler, which grew by 40.8%, motorcycle 24.8%, and scooter 22.4% led the domestic volume growth of for 23.6% to 1.13 million units. Talking about the mix, e-two-wheeler contributes around 9.3% of the mix. Scooters contributes around 43.3%, and motorcycle contributes around 33.4% of the mix. Now, the scooter part. So, for industry, scooter accounts for 40% of the two-wheeler volumes. This growth is supported by rising female workforce participation, urbanization-driven short distance commuting, and ease of riding. And it for TVS, the same scooters contributes around 52% of the mix. Of course, it is led by Jupiter, which grew by 22.2% year on year to 364,000 units, and iQube, which grew by 40.8%. And TVS is continuously improving its scooter mix. It was around 44.2% in quarter three of FY24, and now it is something 52.6% in quarter three FY26. The most growth driver for TVS, the EV segment for TVS has grew by 40.8%. So what has happened? Actually, there was an issue in the rare earth magnets, and it was recovered in this quarter as well. Somewhat it was recovered, and it led to volume of the volume grew by 40.8% year on year and 34.6% quarter on quarter. So recovery helped the TVS IQ cross the 1,000 mark for the first time with 105,000 units recorded for this quarter. And the market share for the, sorry, not the market share. Now talking about, also it has lost the Orbiter EV in this quarter. And the EV, the two-wheeler EV business is contribution margin positive, and it is expected to turn EBITDA positive soon. Current monthly capacity for TVS iQube is 30 to 35,000, and for Orbiter it is 10,000. Three-wheeler also surged 132% year on year to 16.7 thousand units. The EV penetration for three-wheeler industry is around 30 to 32% units, and the EV volumes for TVS is 8.5 to 9,000 units, translating into 50% EV penetration for TVS.
All right. Tushar, I have to stop you here. I'm so sorry.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah,
Sure.
you can again present this report some other day from here only.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
Okay.
Questions, please. Someone else. Quickly raise a question. Anyone? No one has a question there.
Hi, Tushar. That was a good presentation. So
Priya.
what is your opinion on TVS right now? Should we look at it as a short-term investment, if you are to invest in it, or with a long-term perspective?
It is, sorry, yeah. It is good for long term as well. It is good for short term as well. But if you want to generate alpha returns, you should go with the other players. Like there are many other players. We'll be talking later. But TVS is in a good. It has a good volumes of scooters, which is like scooterization trend is going on. It has good volumes of scooters, and it has also good mix of premium motorcycle. So of course the TVS is good with the trend, and it is going to increase as well. So yeah, you can generate good returns, but market has already incorporated the, like, TVS is going to perform good. It has strong presence in EV segment, strong presence in premium portfolio, strong presence in scooter. So already has incorporated. Like if you want normal return, you can go with that. But for alpha returns, what I prefer is I will bet on the Bajaj Auto.
All right.
I
Thanks a
will
lot.
explain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Good question and a very good elaborate answer. Karthik, you have a question there?
No, ma'am, I want to present.
You want to present? You will be the first one to present tomorrow. All right? I'm
Okay.
actually running 10 minutes late for another class.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow, Karthik will start his presentation. Meanwhile, we all will indulge in group discussions. I am just scared we shouldn't forget all that we have gathered, right? All our expertise in doing critical reviews about each other, cross-questioning each other, interrupting each other. We shouldn't forget that. So tomorrow we are going to indulge in group discussions specifically. Plus, Karthik will start the session with his presentation. Sounds good? Chalo. Riya, very nice presentation. Okay, I want to see
Thanks a
more.
lot, ma'am. For sure,
Others
ma'am.
have done very best. Too good. So much of new information on the table. It actually excites me. This 1 hour is a very good hour of the day. Looking forward for tomorrow's exciting class. Okay? Good night, everyone. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.